In a world mapped by satellites and explained by science, we believe the age of monsters has passed, that the creatures of myth have been relegated to the dusty pages of old books. But in the deep, ancient forests and alongside the cold, dark lakes of Scandinavia, there are whispers that suggest some old things have not been forgotten. Here, in the quiet corners of the world, belief in a different kind of entity persists. Not a god, not a ghost, but a primordial nature spirit, a creature as old as the water it inhabits. It is a being known by many names, the Nek, the Nix, the Nixie, but in the deep woods of Norway it is called the Nøkken. This is not a cryptid to be hunted with cameras and sonar. The Nøkken is a living piece of folklore, a creature that exists today in the warnings passed down from parent to child, a metaphor for the dangers that lie just beneath the beautiful surface of the wild. Its domain is the still, dark, fresh water of the inland world. It dwells in the eerie silence of forest ponds, in the deep pools beneath waterfalls, and in the murky depths of secluded lakes. The Nøkken is a master of deception, a shapeshifter whose true form is never truly known. Its identity is fluid, changing to suit its predatory needs, making it a particularly insidious and terrifying entity. One of its famous and cruel disguises is that of a beautiful, majestic white horse. It will appear standing placidly near the water's edge, its coat gleaming, seemingly tame and inviting. It preys on the innocence of children who, delighted by the sight, will rush to climb upon its back for a ride. The moment a child touches it, their hands become magically stuck to its hide. The horse then rears back, its gentle eyes turning malevolent, and leaps into the deepest part of the lake, dragging its helpless victims down to a watery grave. Another of its preferred forms is that of a handsome and enigmatic young man. He is often described as sitting on a rock in the middle of a stream or by a lake, completely naked, with long, wet hair. In his hands he holds a fiddle or a violin, and from it he plays a melody of otherworldly beauty. The music of the Nøkken is not just sound, it is an enchantment, a live-in lure. Anyone who hears the haunting, beautiful notes finds themselves utterly mesmerized, their will draining away. They are drawn, as in a trance, closer and closer to the water's edge, compelled to follow the source of the bewitching sound. Once they are close enough, the Nøkken's music leads them to take the final, fatal step, stumbling into the water where the spirit pulls them under, never to be seen again. The creature is also known to take on more subtle, inanimate forms to trick the unwary. It might appear as a half-submerged log, a strange tangle of seaweed, or a beautiful water lily floating just out of reach. But some legends say there is one feature that can sometimes betray its disguise, a single tell for a watchful eye. It is said that its eyes, no matter the form it takes, often glow with a faint yellow light, a hint of the ancient and predatory spirit within. The Nøkken is more than just a predator. It is also an omen. Its true voice, rarely heard, is said to be a mournful, wailing cry that echoes across the water on a still night. To hear this sound is to receive a death warrant. It is believed that the Nøkken's cry is a prophecy, foretelling an imminent drowning in the area. For centuries, these stories have been an integral part of the culture in the rural and isolated parts of Scandinavia. They served a very practical purpose, to instill in children a deep and healthy fear of the dangers of deep, cold water. The warning, "Do not go near the lake alone or the Nøkken will get you," was a far more effective deterrent than a simple lecture on water safety. The folklore also developed ways to protect oneself from the spirit's malevolent power. It was believed that the Nøkken had an aversion to steel. Throwing a sharp piece of metal, like a knife, a pair of scissors, or even a simple needle into the water was said to break its enchantment and force it to retreat. Another way to defeat the creature was to speak its name out loud. Shouting "Nøkken" was believed to shatter its magical illusion, forcing it to reveal its true, horrifying form and breaking its hold over its victims. But the relationship between humans and the Nøkken was not always one of predator and prey. There is a fascinating branch of the legend that speaks of a dark bargain. It was said that an aspiring musician could learn the enchanted music of the Nøkken, but only at a great price. To do so, the musician had to go to a waterfall or a lake on a Thursday evening and offer a sacrifice. This offering had to be something of value, typically a black animal, like a cat, or a few drops of the musician's own blood cast into the water. If the Nøkken accepted the offering, it would emerge and take the musician's fiddle. It would guide the musician's hands, teaching them the secret melodies of the spirit world. When it returned the instrument, that musician would be gifted with a skill so profound, so enchantingly beautiful, that they would be considered the greatest player in the land. Their music would have the power to make people dance until they dropped, to mend broken hearts, and to captivate any audience. But this gift came with a shadow. The musician's soul was now forever tied to the Nøkken, and their music would always carry a hint of the wild, dangerous magic of the water spirit. Today, in the modern, rational world, the Nøkken has retreated from literal belief into the realm of folklore and metaphor. Yet the feeling it represents has not vanished. It persists in the primal human response to certain places in nature. It is the sudden, inexplicable chill you feel when standing at the edge of a perfectly still, black forest pond. It is the optical illusion of a log in the water that seems to move against the current. It is the haunting sound of the wind that can almost sound like music from across a misty lake at dusk. The Nøkken exists today as a cultural memory, a personification of the wildness that still lurks just beyond our well-lit towns and cities. It is a powerful symbol of the hidden dangers that can lie beneath a beautiful and tranquil surface. The story of the Nøkken is a reminder that our ancestors saw the world as a place filled with living forces, where every rock, tree, and body of water had a spirit and a will of its own. It is a creature born from a deep respect for and a deep fear of the untamable power of nature. And so, even now, when a parent in a quiet Norwegian village warns her child to be careful by the water, the ancient spirit of the Nøkken lives on, its chilling legacy still serving to protect the living from the cold, silent depths.